Welcome to the companion for the Getting Started guide for tablet and phone users. This guide can be downloaded from the support page on our website. This is a step-by-step guide to show you how to create a plan and save an image out. The back page of this guide is a finished plan which we will produce. You can see it above here. You will need to refer to this plan throughout this walkthrough. This plan has been created to encompass most of the day-to-day circumstances you will come across when drawing a plan, but there is much that this guide does not cover. For more in-depth help, please refer to the support pages on our website, but hopefully here we'll give you a basic understanding of how to build up a plan and save out the finished article. Let's begin. First, you'll need to open PlanUp and log in the bottom right. Please be sure to keep the example plan handy during each step of this guide to refer to when needed. Start a new plan. Tap Start a New Plan and you will see the screen like this. Step 1. You will see the measurement of the hall on the example is 2.5 by 2 meters. On the screen, tap and drag, but don't worry about the measurements yet. Release to finish. Now to set the correct measurements. The measurements on your room may differ to our example, as I've drawn here. Tap on the blue measurement box on the top wall. You will now get a number pad on the right hand side of the screen. Tap on 2 and then hit enter. Now tap on the blue measurement on the right hand wall and type 2.5 and then hit enter. The room should now be sized correctly. We now need to name the room. This can be done by tapping on the light grey unnamed text above the room measurement. This will open the room menu. Here you can select the name. Room names are arranged alphabetically. Let's select hall. Step 3. To add the front door, tap on the door icon in the top left symbol menu along the top of the screen. A drop-down menu will appear. You can tap and drag the required door into place. Now we can repeat this process to add the second door to the right-hand wall. Please note that once you have placed the door on the plan, you can tap on it to open a pop-up menu. This will be on the right-hand side of the screen. Here you can change the hinging of the door as well as some other options. If you tap in an empty space in the room, a pop-up menu will appear. Here you can choose to show or hide the measurements or the room name, change the title, delete the room, increase or decrease the text size. From this pop-up menu you can also amend the sizes to be shown on the plan, but more on that later. It is normally best to leave the stairs until the very end. This is because they can sometimes get in the way. We will add the stairs once we've completed the rest of the plan, so we will ignore them for now. Let's move on. Moving around the plan. As you draw more of the plan, you will want to move the plan around to see different parts of it. When using on tablet, tap and drag to pan around. You can also use the pinch-pull technique to zoom in and out. Let's move on to the lounge diner. First, tap on the blue wall-by-wall button towards the top right-hand corner. You will see the top toolbar change to the following yellow banner. We want to start from the right-hand wall of the hall, so tap on this. As directed, select one of the 2 suggested starting points. For this example, we will start at the red point. Once we have selected this starting point, a 1 meter wall will be added like this. Notice there is now a ghost image of a suggestion the software is making of the room it thinks you may be wanting to create. You can manipulate this wall using the double-headed white arrow that extends from the end of the 1 meter wall, or by tapping the required measurement, 3 meters in this case, on the number pad that appears on the right hand side, and finish by pressing enter. Now tap on the black plus in the blue circle to create the next wall. Adjust this wall length using one of the methods we have just done to make this wall 4.5 metres. You will now see the ghost of the room. This is PlanUp suggesting the shape of the room you're trying to create. This alters as more walls are created, making different suggestions. If the suggestion is correct, simply tap on the green tick in the middle of the room to finish drawing it. You'll now need to title the room in the same way that we did in step 2 when creating the hall. Now we need to add the fireplace. Select the fireplace hearth as depicted and drag it to the right hand wall, the same as we did in step 3 of the hall when adding the doors. Also, don't forget to add the door on the left hand wall. Please note that it doesn't matter which order you add the symbols, or even if you create all the rooms before adding the symbols and naming them. However, we do suggest that once you have drawn a room, to add any symbols needed and naming the room before you move on. It's a good practice to get into, and it will stop you from forgetting or failing to see things that you have missed by trying to add all the symbols at the end. Now let's move on to the utility. Remember to tap and drag around the plan and use the pinch pull technique to zoom in and out. We will now create the utility by using the wall by wall method. This time we will tap on the top wall of the lounge and choose Create Room. This has the same effect as we did when creating the lounge by selecting wall by wall with the blue button in the top right hand corner. Select the red start point and make the first wall 2 meters in length. Now use the plus symbol to create the top wall, which needs to be 2 meters and 10 centimeters. Now complete the room by tapping on the green tick in the centre of the suggested room. Please note that you can complete a room using the suggested option that PlanUp gives you by using the green tick, or you can continue adding walls until you get back to the point of which you started. The room will then automatically complete for you. Let's name the room Utility by tapping on the grey unnamed text. Now we need to select a worktop from the top toolbar, which is located under the sink menu, and add it to the bottom wall of the utility by tapping it in. Now let's add the doors. Remembering that we can hinge them left or right as needed. Also, let's add a window to the top wall. This can be added in exactly the same way as adding the doors, by tap, hold and dragging it onto the plan. You can adjust with the red handles. Also, if you wish, you can tap on a window and then tap, hold and drag to size the window all in one go. Now let's move on to the kitchen. To create the kitchen, we'll now use Quick Draw. First tap on Quick Draw in the top right hand corner. Now tap, hold and drag from the top left hand corner of the utility to the top left hand corner of the hallway. Once done, let go. Now we can use what we have learnt so far to complete the kitchen so it looks the same as the example by adding windows, sinks, doors and worktops. Also naming the room. Worktops can be added in a similar way to windows. You can tap them into the plan and adjust them using the red handles, or you can tap, hold and drag them to size. To show the measurements on the plan, tap into the room and in the sizes menu, tick the box. This will show the measurements on the final plan. You can also move the text within a room by tapping and dragging to position the text clearly. To alter the measurements shown within a room, tap into the room and select Check and Edit under the Sizes section. You can tap and drag on the arrowheads to adjust the measurements that will show on the plan. This is also where you can add, change or remove any description that appears on the measurements. In this case, we want to move max from the left measurement. To do this, tap where it says max and you will see a description window pop up where max may be highlighted in a blue box. If max is highlighted, simply tap on max to deselect it and then tap OK, return to the previous menu. If max isn't highlighted, simply press OK. To finish this, select Done along the top toolbar. We've now created the ground floor, so let's create the first floor. To create a floor going up, tap on the upward pointing red arrow along the bottom toolbar towards the right hand side. A message will pop up asking you to confirm if you want to create a floor going up. Tap OK. Note that when you've created more than one floor, you can use these arrows to navigate between your floors. Now we can see a green outline of the floor below. Tap on Switch to Wall by Wall in the yellow toolbar at the top. The outline of the floor below will now include a red circle on each corner. Tap on the top left red starting point and you will see two plus arrows appear. Using the same methods used whilst drawing the lounge diner, let's create the bathroom, 2.9 metres in width and 2 metres in length. Tap on the plus and type your measure. To create your next wall, tap on the plus, type in your measurement and press enter. Once you've created your first two walls, you can now select the tick. Remember to name the room and add the doors, windows and other symbols required for the bathroom. Basins are located under the toilet menu. Always remember to readjust your text to make it legible on the final plan. Let's draw the landing. Landings are often awkward shapes. In these cases, it's advised to draw other rooms first so the landing is easier to fill using quick draw at the end. In this example, however, the landing is a regular square shape and bedroom 2 is slightly irregular. So let's leave bedroom 2 until the end. Using the wall by wall method, tap on the bottom wall of the bathroom and select Create Room. Let's choose the red start point and let's create the landing, 2.5 metres deep by 2 metres wide, and use the autocomplete to finish the room. Let's be sure to also name the room and center the text. In this example, the remaining rooms can be finished using the quick draw method. For example, to draw the office, tap on quick draw and then tap on the lower right hand corner of the landing and drag to the lower left hand corner of the outline of the ground floor. Release to finish. Now let's have a go at drawing the two remaining rooms. Let's remember to use the check edit option and how to change the measurements using the blue measurement boxes. Let's select quick draw and tap, hold and drag to just create any sized room. Then we can tap on the blue measurement box. Bedroom 1 is 3 metres by 3 metres. Now let's create bedroom 2. Bedroom 2 is an awkward shape, but we can use quick draw to quickly fill this shape and then add our measurements. Tap on quick draw, choose a start point can tap, hold and drag to fill the space. It may well be that your measurements are already correct, but it's always worth double checking your measurements by tapping on the blue measurement boxes. In this instance, because the plan is square and measured correctly, everything seems to line up nicely. Remember to show your sizes, as well as add the windows and doors. Now let's add the staircase. We recommend always adding the staircase leading upwards, so before adding the stairs, let's return to the ground floor using the arrows on the bottom toolbar. Now we want to add the stairs. The stairs can be found on the top toolbar. When we tap on this icon, you can see we are presented with a drop-down list containing staircases of various shapes. We require the straight stairwell. This has now created another drop-down menu. We need to select the staircase to the left side with the small arrow pointing upwards. The arrow indicates the bottom step, and the line to the side of the stairs indicates a wall. We can now tap these into the plan. You can tap and hold to adjust the stairwell, as well as using the red handles. Now let's go upstairs to check how they look on the first floor. If the top step is too close to the door of the bathroom, tap on the stairs and use the red handle to adjust them correctly. Now we need to finish our plan, but at this point we want to check that everything is correct. Firstly, check your text positioning across the plan. Make sure that the text is nice and centered. Check the text is shown or hidden correctly and is legible. In the utility, for example, we may want to resize the text so it doesn't overlap on the symbols. Tap into the room and tap smaller on the menu. You can then position the text how you feel it suits best. In this example, we can also do the same in the hall. Now the plan is complete, we need to save it. Tap Finish in the bottom right of the screen. This will open an address box which needs to be completed, including a full postcode. For this example, just use your company name or select User Guide Example, then add your postcode as appropriate. Once done, tap OK and you'll be taken to the following screen. We want to save out the 2D image onto our device, so let's tap Get 2D. The preview will now appear slightly dimmer. This part of the screen is now inactive, and the menu panel to the right will have some different options available. We want to customize the plan to be the same as the example. To do this, we need to tap on the Change Style option. This is in blue. Then we want to change the color scheme. Here you've got 5 options. Our plan is currently patchwork coloured. For our example, we simply want it in black and white. So let's choose black and white. Once done, tap on the arrow towards the top left of the menu, and then again to get back to the 2D options. Now let's save our image. We can simply tap on the icon to send images and links. An email will be sent to the email address that you used to log in to PlanUp. This email will have your images attached, as in the example. There are also other options here that you can download from PlanUp. Congratulations! You've just drawn and saved out your first plan. This was just a brief overview and there are still many things to learn, but hopefully this has given you the know-how to create and save a plan. For more in-depth information and further tips on how to use PlanUp, please take a look at our support pages and other videos on our YouTube channel.